Hello, and welcome to the Don't Think podcast. I'm your host, Carla Bazanson, and I'm completely fucking with you. That is not my podcast voice. I would never do you guys like that. I am Carla Bazanson, though, or maybe you know me as Snarly Carly, or the girl who sits in her car and complains in those videos that you might have seen. Maybe you know me from TikTok. Maybe you know me from Instagram. Actually, most recently, I've been posting on Facebook, which is actually kind of insane. I don't know who's spending time on Facebook these days. Actually, I do kind of know. Crazy people. If you're on TikTok and Instagram and you think people are mean, I would invite you to go over to Facebook and see what it's all about. It's like dystopian. It's lawless. People are just saying whatever the fuck they want and getting away with it. Honestly, I feel like it's a good way to toughen up. I used to send kids to summer camp to, build some resilience, get bullied a little bit. And now it's like, no, it's actually way cheaper and faster. Just have them post something on Facebook. Literally anything. It doesn't even matter what it is. I will post a video of me talking about having crippling anxiety, and some old guy from Idaho will comment, "You're an ugly bitch." Okay, that is not what the video is about, while it may be true, but thank you for your opinion. And it's literally always a guy who has his profile picture is him and his wife and his kid. And then you click on the profile and the bio will say, God-fearing man, Matthew 4:17. I'm like, Matthew 4:17. I'm like, that must be the passage on cyberbullying. It's not lining up for me. But with that said, if you're here from Facebook, welcome. Thank you so much. Please don't hurt me. I don't care where you're here from. The fact that you're here, I'm so happy. I've been so excited about doing this podcast and nervous, and then excited again, and then nervous again. And kind of excited in the same way that you get excited about getting the shit beat out of you. You're like, oh, that would be interesting and new. It would certainly, be something different, but it's very scary. So I don't know about you guys. I'm hoping that if you're here, it's because we're kind of the same. I've learned that my audience on social media is very much like me, and I'm so sorry about that. People are like, oh, I relate to your videos. I'm like, I'm so sorry. That's horrible news for you. But I have a brain that literally never shuts up, okay? It feels like my brain is a radio station that plays all the time, and I don't have the option of turning it off. And the radio host isn't nice or funny or friendly. It's not like, your local country station, you're driving to work, they're cracking jokes while you sit in traffic. No, okay? My radio host is a bully. It probably fucking loves Facebook. So my brain will be like, hey, we should do some worrying. And I'm like, well, I don't really feel like I'm in the mood to worry right now. And it's well, too fucking bad. We're going to worry about literally nothing and everything. And I'm like, well, we just did that all day yesterday and the day before. And it's like, it doesn't matter. We're doing it again. And that super important meeting that you have at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, you best call that off because you will not be able to perform. You're going to be up all night sweating. So with that said, if you also have a brain that literally never shuts up, welcome. Okay, welcome to Don't Think. This is our little support group disguised as a podcast, but it's really going to be a lot more than. So 3 things that you can expect from this show. Number 1, I will make you laugh. If I can't make you laugh, honestly, please cancel me because I don't know what else I have to offer. It's like when people are like, you're so funny. And I'm like, thank you. First of all, I appreciate the compliment, but also it's not a choice. I have to be funny. If I'm not funny, I don't know what else I have. And if I don't offer you something, then likely you'll abandon me. And I don't need any more proof that I'm unlovable. So I'll make you laugh. Moving on. Number 2, you will feel seen, heard, understood. I will be serious for a minute here. I think people who struggle with mental illness, hi, hello, that is me. I have anxiety, depression, borderline personality disorder. My body's rejecting that coming out of my mouth. It's no. But I'm like, no, I do have that diagnosis. So BPD of me to be like, no, it's not me. OCD as well. Okay, so that's my little stack of mental illness. It's pretty tall. If yours is as tall or taller than mine, give me a shout. We should probably be friends, or maybe you can co-host the podcast with me. Who have mental illness, I feel like we often feel misrepresented misunderstood, very isolated. It's an isolating experience for a number of reasons because we are misrepresented often in the media and in general. And then you have a brain that bullies you. All of that makes you feel very alone in it. I noticed that when I started on social media, right, that there seemed to be a gap of people who were very candidly talking about their mental illness or, their real experiences living with anxiety and depression. And I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I was like, I don't care. I got nothing to lose. I don't care if I live or die. So yeah, I'm going to talk about things in a way that hopefully you'll be like, wow, I relate to that. I've always thought that. I never knew how to articulate it, or I didn't know other people felt that way. And number 3, the last thing you can expect here is engagement. I really want to hear from you guys and go back and forth. Okay, I want to shoot the shit. At some point, I would love to have something where you guys call in and we talk and it's live and we're going back and forth. But for right now, I'm going to do a Don't Think deep dive at the end of every episode. So here's my shameless plug. If you don't follow me on Instagram, hop over there, and Facebook. No, if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's Carla Bazanson, and that's where I'm going to post every week a prompt for the Don't Think deep dive, which is where I'm going to hear from you guys. Voice notes, send me your voice notes, okay? I want to hear it all. I want to hear your crazy fucking ex stories. I want to hear your panic attacks. I want to hear your questions. If you want advice on something, I don't think I'm qualified to give advice, but I will do my best. I'll make it up. I don't care. I got you. Don't take my advice. Yeah, the irony of this podcast is that it's called Don't Think, but all I've done for months is think about the show. And when I get stressed about something, I become a nasty little rat. Very unpleasant to be around. I do not like myself when I'm stressed. And it's palpable, right? When you're in a bad mood, you're in a bad mood. And you not only are kind of I need to get away from other people because I don't want them to start hating me, but also I want to get away from myself. Ew, it's embarrassing. I'm like, ew, why are we in such a bad mood? Grow up. The only way you can actually get a break is going to sleep, taking a nap. I don't nap because I don't like waking up feeling like somebody injected me with a dose of depression. I don't know what that is, but when I wake up from a nap, it's whatever the opposite of serotonin is, that's what's going on when I wake up from a nap. It's if you thought you were depressed before, this is what real depression feels like. So I don't nap. But I will put myself to bed at 8 p.m. because I'm just in a rotten mood and I'm I don't want to be inside my head anymore. I just want to not think. It's that saying, wherever I go, there I am. And that is really what we're talking about today. The experience in general of not being able to get out of your head, not being able to run away from your own mind, your own problems, your own thoughts, basically not being able to run away from yourself despite every desperate attempt. And I am no stranger to this. So this is more of a do as I say, not as I do situation. I spent the better part of a year clawing and scratching, trying so hard to run away from my problems, run away from myself. Shocking development. It didn't work. I went through a breakup in February of 2024. It was a long-term relationship. I'd been dating someone for 5 years. We had a house together. We had a dog together. Yeah, it didn't work out. And when we broke up, I was also kind of going through this experience of gaining following on social media. Everything was changing. And I started dating someone else quite soon after this, somebody who lived in the States and I live in Canada. So I started this kind of long distance relationship. Again, really I was just running away from the pain of my breakup and, having to face all of these changes in my life. Lo and behold, I get dumped on New Year's Eve. So this is 2 breakups in the span of a year. Just in case you were wondering, getting dumped 10 minutes before midnight on New Year's Eve, wouldn't recommend. It's not the best thing I've ever done. Excuse me, I have to have a drink of my drink now because that was triggering. It's a true story, and I will unpack it at some point because it is tea. But yeah, I got dumped at the bar in Nashville, by the way. 10 minutes before New Year's Eve. Spent my New Year's at the airport crying, ugly crying in front of every stranger that walked by. I didn't care. And by the way, neither did anyone else. Not one single person stopped to be are you okay? I think I might have been crying so hard that they were we don't want to touch that. Whatever the fuck that is. No. That ain't for me. I was really, at that point, trying to run away from 2 breakups now. Scrambling, okay? I think scrambling is the only way that I could describe what my mind was going through. And I started traveling constantly. I'd already been traveling a lot to see the person that I was in this long distance relationship with, but I started traveling even more, trying to, I think, prove to myself and to my ex maybe that, like, I don't need you to have a fun life. I'm doing all of these things. The thing is, you can pack your bags, you can go to the nicest place in the world, but whatever you're feeling, you're really just packing that in a suitcase and taking it with you. You're packing it in a carry-on, taking it to the fucking lounge. Wherever you end up, it's going to be there with you. Come March 2025, me and my friend Emily decide we're going to go on like a healing trip. First of all, a healing trip, first place that comes to mind, not Miami, but that's where we thought we would go. If you've ever been to Miami, you're probably thinking right now, oh, wow, yeah, no, that's delusional. You don't go to Miami to heal. You go to Miami like before you heal. You're like, I'm not quite there yet. So I'm going to go to Miami and really just like run it up for it, which is exactly what ended up happening. But no, we were deluding ourselves. We were like, you know, let's just go lie on the beach. Let's go read and journal and work and just heal. And she was going through like a bit of a break with her relationship at the time too. We go to Miami. Immediately, we get there and we start drinking because A, it's Miami. B, we're escaping the cold hellscape of Halifax, Nova Scotia in March, the worst place on earth in March. We get to Miami, people are like wearing their cute little sundresses and their crop tops and they're having a drink and we're like, oh, hell yes, like I will participate in this. Of course, we drank all day, all night. We get back to the hotel. I would say that I woke up, but I'm not even sure if we slept that night. So I either woke up or just remained awake, and I get a text from my cousin telling me that my ex, the very one I was trying to run away from, is also in Miami. That's not where he lived. He lived somewhere else in the U.S., but he's also in Miami. And not only is he in Miami, but he's there with a girl that he met through me at my apartment in Canada. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what the fuck? If you've been to Miami again, you know there's girls everywhere. Like, to me, this was very obviously what I would call a spite invite. He was clearly trying to upset me, and it worked. Like, my anxiety skyrockets. My friend Emily, poor Emily, God bless her soul, but she sees the entire thing. Like, I'm not kidding you. I'm rifling through my suitcase at 9 a.m. Where's my Ativan? Throwing things. Where's my Ativan? To this day, don't know what happened to my Ativan. Couldn't find it. It was like the catalyst for a trip just riddled with anxiety, okay? There were a number of factors. A, you don't party and drink and stay up all night when you're in a precarious mental state, and I know that, but I was like, well, you know, I'm in Miami. Being in a strange place, and then adding the fact that my ex was there, and then adding the fact that I'm hearing he's with this girl that I was upset about. All of that just put me in such a bad place, and it just kind of became this incredibly anxiety-inducing trip. And I would wake up every morning in our hotel in beautiful Miami with one of my best friends, who, by the way, is like such a kind and caring and supportive and stable person. I would immediately just think, oh my God, like I need to go for a run, or I need to go to the ocean and submerge myself in the water and have a rebirth. I just need to do anything to get away from myself and get away from how I'm feeling. I would think to myself, like, I need to go home. I need to go home. I can't deal with this. I'm too anxious. And then I would immediately, following that thought, I would think, you know what? As soon as I get home, I'm going to need to leave again. And that was what had been happening for months. Like, I would go on a trip. I would be super anxious the entire trip, and I'd go, oh, man, this isn't making me feel better. And then I would get home, and I'd be like, I'm so happy to be home. And I'd spend one day home, and then I'd go, wait, this is also making me anxious. I need to go on a trip. And then I'd get on the trip, and I'd be like, wait, the trip's making me anxious. And what I wasn't realizing was that it didn't matter where I went. It didn't matter what I did. I couldn't run away from myself. Like, wherever I went, I was going to be there. I was not dealing with my problems. I was simply running from them. And the irony of this entire thing is that at the end of that trip to Miami, my ex, who I hadn't spoken to, we'd been like no contact for months, ends up coming back to Miami. He had left, coming back to see me, and we spent the weekend together. And I wouldn't say we got back together, but we had another attempt at our terrible relationship. And so the exact thing I was running from ended up finding me in the place I was trying to run from it. So the universe basically said, hey, I see what you're trying to do. Not gonna happen, sweetheart. Not on my watch. You're gonna have to face it head on. And I feel like that's often what happens when we try to run from a problem. It's really because we're not ready to face them, but it's just a roundabout way of getting to the place where we have to face them anyway. And I do believe, like, don't rush something. If you're not ready to move on, it's like date him till you hate him, right? Like, If you're not ready, you can't force it. And I wasn't ready. But I found myself in a place where I had to ask myself the tough questions and I had to do the hard thing. And I promised myself after one more trip with my ex, we went back to Florida together. And then one more trip after that one to try to get over the fact that it didn't work out again. And then I really did look myself in the mirror and I was like, Carla, you have been running and it's not working. It's not working. And I promised myself I wouldn't travel. And I've been traveling every 2 weeks for, 8 months at this point. I promised myself I would stay home. Shout out Halifax, Nova Scotia. For the summer until the fall. This was in April, the last trip that I went on. I said I would stay home, I would face myself. And I did. And the truth is, we look for these quick fixes, but what we actually need is to ground ourselves. You have the instinct to run, and the truth is you need to do the opposite and fucking sit in it and be like, wait, what is it that I'm running from and how can I find things to bring me back to myself? And that is exactly what I did. It was like the drives to the middle of nowhere with my best friend. Spending time with my family, having my mom and my brother and my dad over, going to therapy, finding a therapist I actually vibed with, going for walks with no phone, like all of the things that are boring and mundane but are safe and grounding and, journaling. I'm kidding. I absolutely fucking hate journaling because it's just like seeing my psychosis on paper and I'm like, oh my God. I like look at what I read and I'm like, no. I'm like, put her in the mental hospital. So not journaling for me, but if it works for you, that's great. But it really was a question of what can bring me back to me and just facing it. And that is why I wanted to start the podcast with this episode and talk about this, because if I hadn't have put that work in to face myself, I wouldn't have ever been in a position where I was mentally stable enough, honestly, to start this show. And so I'm so happy that I did that and that I'm able to be here with you guys today. And I'm so fucking happy you guys are here, whether you're from Facebook or not. It's all good. We're all friends here. And that brings me to my Don't Think Deep Dive. That's a bit of a tongue twister. I've been practicing saying it. Don't Think Deep Dive. Question of the week. Okay, so I asked you guys, was it a time that you tried to run away from yourself and it didn't work? And I'm going to play a couple of the clips that I heard from you guys. And I have to say, these made me feel so much better about myself. I'm like, wow, like I'm just one of us. We're all the same. Okay, so let's hear from Nick.
So I went through a breakup and my response was, I can't even be here. So I went to Vegas for 5 days. Which is way too long. Vegas is only really good for like a weekend. And an extra 2 days, it really grates on you. No, it's actually not even, it's like maybe 2 days. Like Vegas is worth 2 days, not even the 3. So it was 3 days too long. People were like friends and stuff who were really just mostly acquaintances or work people that I went with. And it sucked. That whole situation sucked. I was miserable the whole time. I was just sad. Just with other people. That was really a bad idea. I just did not enjoy it. Vegas is really touristy, and if you're drunk and stuff, but if you're sad drunk, it's not good. You're just a bummer.
I feel you, Nick. That is exactly. It's like, if you're sad in Halifax, Nova Scotia, you're going to be sad in Miami. If you're sad, wherever you're from, Nick, you're going to be sad in Vegas. And I am glad to know, though, that I'm not the only one who tried to face their problems with their breakup by just going to, in quotes, a really fun place. The problem is you get to the really fun place and you're like, oh, wait, I'm not fun. Like everything going around me is so fun. I remember being at the club in Miami at 11. If you've been to Miami, you've probably been to 11. And it is I don't even like clubbing, but it's my favorite nightclub in the world, okay? I just love it. It's so much fun. But no, I'm sitting there and I'm looking around and everyone's having a good time and I feel like an imposter, like an outlier. I'm like, am I an alien? Like, why can everybody else have so much fun here at this very fun place? And I can't. Oh, it's because I brought my shit brain with me. I brought my baggage with me. Thank you, Nick. I feel your pain. All right. Let's hear from JJ.
All right, so picture this. The girl you've been dating for 8 years cheats on you because she was mad that you went on a ski trip without getting her permission. So your friends naturally book a long weekend in Miami to get you away from your problems. Great plan. Until your problems show up on the plane and literally sit a row behind you, asking to get back together for the next 3 hours. And that's when I realized coach is only for people that don't have enemies.
Okay, first of all, coach is only for people that don't have enemies. I want that on a hoodie, and then I'm going to wear it in coach. It's like a flex. I don't have any enemies. Wow. Okay. I don't know if I'm impressed or scared by this woman because that is an Olympic level of dedication. She was like, I want my man's back and I'm going to get him. Like, I also want to know when she got to Miami, when you got to Miami, what was their game plan? Like, did you get back together? Did she go with you? Did she just like turn around, do a fucking 180 at the airport and get back on the plane and fly home? This is why I want to do phone calls, because I need the back and forth. I need to know what happened, JJ. But also, again, I'm just happy that I'm not the only person running away to Miami to run away from my problem. I won't do it again. I learned my lesson, but hopefully so did you. Okay, let's hear from Caitlin.
So my longtime boyfriend and I, in 2014, ran away to India for 3.5 months. The relationship was not doing well, and I think we were both in denial, and he didn't really want to go. I wanted to go really bad, so I basically forced him into it, and we brought home 2 dogs, and when we got back, we had no house, no money, nothing. I had left my apartment to go to India and my job, and he cornered me in the kitchen of our newly found house that I had spent 3 months trying to find, and he basically told me he wanted to move back to Ontario to be with his family, and abandoned me with 2 dogs, no job, and a newly found house that took me 3 months to find. Yeah, so I convinced him to stick around. He ended up staying for too long, and we didn't break up until 2023, which was many, many years too long. So yeah, that running away to India did not, I mean, I got 2 dogs and a magical experience, but it did not fix the relationship.
Okay, well, again, this makes me feel better about myself. I, too, am the product of a relationship mistake dog situation. But when you get a dog out of something, you can't be mad at the situation because it's like, that's my little baby angel. I feel like that's probably how people who went through divorce but they have kids feel. They're like, you hear them justify it. They're like, well, I hate him. He ruined my life, but I wouldn't have my sweet babies without him. So it's like, that's how I feel about the dog. And that's how you should feel, Caitlin. Yeah, you shouldn't have fucking gone to India with a guy you wanted to break up with. But hey, you got 2 dogs. So let's call a win, Let's call a win when we see one. How are we doing for time? Okay. Thank you. Okay, this one's anonymous, so it's going to be juicy.
I was 18 and I'd had my heart broken. Anyway, I was marinating in bed for 3 months, depressed as, wondering what life was going to throw at me next. So it was my friend's birthday. I was like, okay, I will go out. I bump into said guy and he basically tells me he loves me. We walk home 4 hours and he stays the night. We don't do anything. In the morning, I roll over and he looks me dead in the eyes and goes, I still can't do this. So I went to the shops and bought a one-way ticket to the UK, where I'm originally from, as a child. And yeah, moved to the UK. I did a little bit of a stint in Greece and then I moved to Austria. Said guy randomly messages me one night, tells me that he misses me and that he's booked a random flight to Austria. So he comes over, tells me he loves me. We go on a little whirlwind adventure. I book my flight home and probably a week before I'm due to head back to Australia, he ghosts me. And so that was fun. Definitely ran away from my problems.
Okay.
They caught up to me.
Okay, so we're the same. We both tried to run away from a man, but when we got where we were going, the man reaches back out. We circle back. We say, let's try again. And then they ghost us. You guys, I'm not a religious, not a God-fearing man. I'm not a Facebook lover. But I will say it's almost like God or some higher power is just literally being like, F you. You cannot run from your problems. You have to face your problems. And you know what? At the end of the day, I don't think it matters how you get there, okay? I don't think it matters if you run away to Vegas or Miami or Greece. If you find yourself in a place where you're finally ready to be like, wait, I do have to heal from this, then you got there, right? You got there. And everything else is just a little bit of fun or misery or torture that you had along the way. At least that's how I'm choosing to look at it. But in any case, that is all the time that we have. I'm so happy that this is over with. Oh my God. No, I'm just kidding, kind of. No, it's a relief. I was nervous that I would just completely fuck it up. But here we go. Here we are. And I'm just happy that I got to engage with you guys a little bit again. Please do follow me on Instagram at Carla Bazanson if you want to be part of the show next week or the week after or whenever. And if you laughed, if you felt seen, or if you just simply get a break from your brain for 30 minutes, you got to not think, please tune in again next week. Send this to a friend. And until then, next Thursday, I love you guys. Don't text your ex. Make an appointment to get your teeth cleaned. Okay. Bye.